everyone, I'm MAINEiac. Welcome to my channel, Fashionably 50-something and beyond. If you like hauls, DIYs, and cooking, then you've come to the right channel. And what I have for you today is some cooking. This is a cooking collaboration with MAINEiac Grammie's Homestead. Every Wednesday we post a video of a meal made with Dollar Tree items. And what's on my menu today is I'm going to make some barbecued beans, cornbread muffins, and raspberry bars. Okay, and we're gonna start with the raspberry bars. I will post these recipes in my description box. So for our raspberry bars, we need 1.5 cups of flour, and flour is available at the Dollar Tree. I had this on hand, but flour is at the Dollar Tree. 1 cup of brown sugar. Now this brown sugar is from the Dollar Tree. So we need 1 cup. Add that. 1 teaspoon of salt. So we need 2 cups of instant oats. And these are from the Dollar Tree. So 1, 2. Okay, now it calls for 1 cup of butter. And I am using this Imperial margarine from the Dollar Tree. So I am to put in all but 2 tablespoons. So we're gonna add our margarine here. Except for 2 tablespoons. That is what we put on the bars at the end before we put them in the oven. Okay, now I'm going to cut this butter into the brown sugar, flour, and salt, and oatmeal. So we'll just cut this in. Okay, now I have my pan that I have already sprayed with cooking spray. And I am going to put half of this crumbly mixture into my pan. I'm just going to press that down. And there we have our crust. Okay, now I'm going to take our Fruitessa raspberry jam that I got from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to put it on top of our crust. So this calls for 1.5 cups of raspberry jam. So here's 1 cup. And here is 1/2 cup. Now I'm just going to spread that around with my spatula. Okay, now we take our remaining flour mixture and just put that on the top of our bars. And then we take our 2 tablespoons of butter and we put that on the top. Okay. And this is what it looks like. And I have the oven all preheated, so I'm just gonna stick these in the oven. It says to cook these for 20 to 25 minutes. So we'll set these in the oven. Okay, so our timer is going off, and now I'm going to take the raspberry bars out of the oven. And here's what they look like. And they smell really good. So I'm gonna set these aside. Now I have the oven preheating for our cornbread muffins that we're going to make. And I have this package from the Dollar Tree. It is Morrison's Texas style honey sweet cornbread mix. So it says what I need with this to make these is this package, plus 3 eggs and 1 3/4 cups of milk. Now I am using regular milk just because I forgot to pick some up at the Dollar Tree. But Dollar Tree does have milk that you can buy to make these muffins. So here's what we're going to do. I preheated the oven to 425 and then we're going to whisk the eggs and the milk. So we need 1 3/4 cups of milk. And we need 3 eggs. And these are the eggs that I bought at the Dollar Tree. I used them last week to make the deviled eggs. So now I'm using them this week for our cornbread. Okay, now I'm just going to whisk this together. And now I'm going to add our muffin mix. We'll just whisk this together. And it says on here, for a sweeter cornbread, add 1 tablespoon of sugar to the mix before baking. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of sugar because I really love the cornbread muffins at Famous Dave's and they're a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to see how these are with the 1 tablespoon of sugar. So I'm going to add that, whisk that in. And now we're making cornbread muffins, so I have our cupcake pan ready. I don't know how many this will make, so I have 2 ready. So it doesn't say to let this sit or anything, it just says put it in the cup. So here we go. This is a little bit on the runny side, but we'll just see how it goes. And now we have our 2 pans of cornbread muffins to go in the oven. It says to bake those for 15 to 20 minutes, so I'm gonna set the oven for 18 minutes. Okay, now we're gonna start on our baked beans. I will put this recipe in the description box as well, but we need a pound of bacon. I'm not using a pound, I'm using about 9 ounces, but I did get this bacon at the Dollar Tree. I have 3 packages. It calls for 1 green bell pepper and 1 medium onion. So I am using this frozen mix. I'm just gonna chop these up. And then 3 cans of pork and beans, a cup of barbecue sauce, which I have from the Dollar Tree, a tablespoon of mustard, and a tablespoon of brown sugar. So what we'll do is we'll get this bacon going, and it says to cook the bacon, get that started. So we're gonna add our bacon to our pan. And here we have 4 slices. And here is what the bacon looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna get this started on the stove. Okay, and while our bacon's going, I'm gonna start chopping up our vegetables. So I got my onions and green peppers at the Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna chop these up. I'll let them thaw out a little bit. Okay, so we have our vegetables chopped. I'm just gonna tend to the bacon. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove the bacon from the pan. I have a paper plate here with some paper towels on it. I'm just gonna take this out. Okay, so here's our bacon. And now I'm gonna add the peppers to the pan. It says to cook the peppers and onions in bacon grease. So I'm just gonna add these to our pan. And it says to cook these for about 5 minutes, so we'll let these simmer over here. And while those are cooking, while our peppers and onions are cooking, I will chop up the bacon. Our timer hasn't gone off yet, but I'm gonna check on our cornbread muffins. I think they're done. And here we have 1 pan of cornbread muffins. And here's the rest of our cornbread muffins. So we're just gonna let those cool while we make our... Okay, so I've taken our peppers off of the stove, and this is what they look like. And now the recipe says to add our beans, so I'm adding 3 cans of pork and beans. Okay, so we've added our beans. Now we're gonna add our barbecue sauce. And this is Kraft barbecue sauce from the Dollar Tree. And this calls for 1 cup. Now we add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And 1 tablespoon of mustard. Now we stir this all together. And now I'm going to stir in our bacon. Return these beans to the stove and let them cook for an hour. Okay everyone, now we're gonna let our beans cook for an hour, and I'm gonna clean up this mess, and then I'll bring everything to you when it's ready. Hi everyone, I'm back, and our cornbread muffins are done. Our raspberry muffins are done. And our beans are done. So now it's time for the taste test. And they are really good. They taste bacony. They're really good. I think what I'll do is tomorrow I'm gonna make hot dogs and have the beans with them. And here we have our cornbread muffins. These are really good. I'm glad I added the sugar, but I think that if you like Famous Dave's cornbread muffins, you'll like these. Very good. Now I'm just gonna put one of these raspberry bars on my plate. Very good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and all my food that I cooked with Dollar Tree items. It's very delicious. We'll put the recipes in the description box, and so that you can make them also, but they are very good. I'm very happy with this meal. So thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a great day. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.